Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Thursday, the 28th of November 2024. In today's Mill news, we start off with a letter from the CEO, the new one, about he's put out a letter because of yesterday's incident. So this is from the official website millfc.co.uk. A letter from Mill's Mark Fairbrother. Following the postponement of our Sky Bet Championship fixture against Portsmouth on Wednesday evening, I would like to thank all our fans for their support and patience at Fratton Park. We share the frustrations with you all, particularly those in attendance, that the fixture was unable to take place. Issues arose from a major power outage at the stadium at roughly 7:35, and despite efforts, the amount of power restored was not enough to guarantee the safety of all supporters within the stadium. This is correct. The power outage was only at the stadium. It was the substation that was used just to supply power to Fratton Park. A lot of places are saying it was a power cut in the area. That is not true. Working closely with the safety officers of Fratton Park, Hampshire Police and the match officials, it was also critical that our travelling fans were considered in the decision making and given enough time to make the only post-match train direct to London Waterloo. Following on from this, I can confirm match and coach tickets purchased will be refunded in full back to the original card payment method, including booking fees for tickets bought online and over the phone. You have to pay a booking fee for over the phone? Yeah, apparently a lot of people, because this new website is actually pretty fucking jank, a lot of people started to order tickets over the phone. Supporters who purchased a ticket with cash will be able to receive their refund by visiting a dedicated ticket office window on match day against Coventry City or Sheffield United. I assume that's supposed to say not and, or Sheffield United. Should you have further questions regarding ticket refunds, please contact our dedicated supporter liaison officer Alex Russell via the email arussell@millfc.co.uk. As well as working closely with the EFL and Portsmouth over the coming weeks to confirm a new date for the fixture, we will also explore ways in which we can assist fans with their travel for the rearranged game. Once confirmed, details of the new date, ticket sales and travel arrangements will be communicated via millfc.co.uk. Please note, new tickets will be issued by Portsmouth for the rearranged fixture. So you do not keep your old ticket. I guess if you paid cash, you need to, go down and hand it in. If you bought it online, they're just going to automatically refund the stuff, the money back to your card. So once again, I, alongside everybody at the club, would like to thank you all for your support and representing the club superbly throughout a frustrating evening, and look forward to seeing a sold-out away end on Saturday against Oxford United. And that's Mark Fairbrother there. So again, yeah, obviously disappointing. It is disappointing, and the thought occurred to me the other day. This is not something that we really particularly have to deal with. Being Mill fans, it's not something that happens to us. I think the only game that I can remember being postponed late on the day for Millwall, or even at all, was a game, I think it was in the late 90s. And that was because snow and ice was around the ground, but the pitch was fine, the stadium was fine. It's just the police and the authorities thought that some of the roads are too icy. So, well, okay, how about you get some salt out and fucking shovel it? How about that? But no, the game got postponed. And it's not something we really have to deal with being Mill fans. Obviously, in the central London location, got the urban heat island effect, which means that if it snows, the snow just instantly disappears into the concrete. It doesn't stick around. It doesn't get cold enough. All of the heat from all of the houses, like as you walk down the street, you can see like the the exhaust pipe. There's all kind of like steam coming out of them, and that means cold weather and whatnot doesn't really affect us. Waterlogging isn't a factor, so we don't really get our games postponed. And not only that, in terms of having our games postponed, it's the opposite for us. We have to be pretty resilient because the public transport options to go to the ground, or even if you're driving, like the parking options, you will keep getting screwed over time and time again. So you will have to work your way around that. They keep putting obstacles in your way, like shutting South Bermondsey, shutting London Bridge, shutting this, shutting that. They keep shutting everything down. There's roadworks everywhere. Like, it's insane. It used to be that they would wait until March, April to put the roadworks everywhere. Now there's roadworks everywhere all year round. It's an absolute frigging joke. So we've obviously have to overcome that basically every home game, and it is what it is. It was disappointing today to see on social media some Mill fans, a growing number, who what would you call them? There are some names for them. Kent C words is one of them, but suburbanites who obviously drive everywhere, so they just drove to the game. Obviously, a lot of people are driving to games now because transport options are screwed, and they're moaning on X, on Twitter, saying, "Oh, well, why did you postpone a game because of Mill fans on the train? Like, I drove to the game, I'm fine. Like, why did you do that?" It's like, bruh, are you serious? Like, this old I'm alright Jack mentality is kind of jarring to see, and hopefully these people aren't in positions of authority and power, because you can imagine if they're responsible for anything that gets done in the world, I'm sure that's going to work out fine with an attitude like that. But yeah, it's just a rubbish day all round. And like I said the other day, we assume that it's going to be one of the midweeks in January. It's going to be the midweek that should have been on for the FA Cup third round replay. It has come to attention. So obviously, the fourth round, there's a fourth round date, but there are games on that date will get postponed anyway. They used to leave it free, because you imagine, like, there's probably a 50-50 chance of a championship team winning the FA Cup third round and going to the fourth round, and then the game's going to have to be postponed. But they've decided that they organise a full round of championship games on the fourth round date, and then it's just, any team that goes through, or they're playing a team that goes through, well, that game gets postponed, it gets moved to a later date. So we wait to see. But obviously, some people mentioned as well, I don't think this was a particularly hard ticket to get, really. Certainly not as hard as like the QPR or the Oxford away. But people saying, well, are the people who got the tickets and went to the game that didn't happen in the first place, will they be the ones first in line for the new tickets? And I don't think that is the case. And it's interesting to see that the club is looking to help people out with the travel for the next game, for the rearranged games, which you assume is going to be either like heavily discounted or maybe even free coach travel, but we wait to see. I think they're probably still working it out, which is why they haven't announced either way, but there you go. So, moving on to this, post-match of sorts. So obviously, usually have post-match comments. We've got post-postponement comments. And this is from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Highly unusual situation for Millwall manager after power failure scuppers Portsmouth fixture. Millwall manager Neil Harris was placed in the unusual scenario of beginning to prepare for Saturday's Championship fixture at Oxford United at the time when his side should have been in action against Portsmouth. Wednesday night's match at Fratton Park was called off 55 minutes after the match should have been started due to a power failure. The floodlights cut out minutes before kick-off, and although some power returned, Portsmouth Chief Executive Andrew Cullen revealed there were still issues with crowd safety, as well as Mill's travelling support being able to catch trains back to the capital. While supporters headed for the exits once the decision was announced, both set of players carried out training sessions on the pitch. We thank Portsmouth for allowing us to do it. A lot of clubs wouldn't, Harris told Millwall TV. We really appreciate that. It is bizarre, I have to start thinking about a way about Oxford. I don't need to watch the game back, so that's one less game for me to watch in the morning. I can start looking at Oxford, in a different challenge. There was no Duncan Watmore or Sean Hutchinson tonight. Whether they've got a chance for the weekend, we'll have to see over the next 48 hours. It gives people an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Harris had made 3 changes for the game on the south coast, with Femi Aziz, who scored the late lever against Sunderland on Saturday, coming into the side along with Murray Wallace and Tom Bradshaw. Midfielder Billy Mitchell, who has missed the whole campaign with a quad injury, was named on the bench. Millwall 9th in the table and unbeaten in the last 8 league games. Oxford have lost their last 3 matches, the latest a 3-0 midweek reverse at Sheffield United, in which Crystal Palace loanee Jess Rakzaki was on the score sheet. And they have taken 3 points from a possible 18, a 1-0 win over Hull City at the start of the month. Millwall have not played a league match there since the 2016-17 season, when goals from Steve Morrison and Aidan Bryan earned a 2-1 victory. Oxford did knock them out of the EFL Cup in August 2019, prevailing 4-2 on penalties after a 2-2 draw in which Icelander John Dali Bolvarsson claimed a brace. So there you go, bit of a history lesson there. Now, someone else who was affected by the postponement. Talking of the Oxford game, this is from the Whitney Gazette, the whitneygazette.co.uk. Oxford United boss on Portsmouth versus Millwall postponement. Guess who travelled to the game last night? The Oxford manager and I think one of his assistants. So Des Buckingham says Oxford United must focus on what they can control after weekend opponents Millwall had their game called off last night. The Lions made the trip to Portsmouth, but the clash at Fratton Park was postponed following a power failure. The stadium was plunged into darkness. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. We know all this. U's head coach Buckingham went to Fratton Park with analyst Joe Moore in the hope of scouting Millwall, who visit the Cassham Stadium on Saturday live in person. He said, we went to Portsmouth to watch their game as we play Millwall this weekend. We spent 6 hours in the car and had the floodlight failure when we got there. Getting back at 2:30 a.m. from Sheffield and then midnight has been a very busy week for us. Buckingham believes the postponement can be spun as both a positive or a negative, but did highlight that the 3 Lions players are a yellow card away from suspension, so in theory a booking at Fratton Park could have ruled out Romain Esse, George Honeyman or Japhet Tanganga against United. I think you can swing it either way, depending on how the game goes this weekend, said Buckingham. If we come away with a result, you can say that the disruption maybe helped us, and if we don't, you can say they were fresh and they have 3 players who were on yellow cards. And if they'd got booked, could have been out of this game. And I think the most important thing is that we didn't let it detract away. I've travelled with Joe Moore, the analyst, but we're only 2 in terms of the disruption for us, whereas everyone else has gone about their business as usual. And I can't speak for Millwall and what looks like it for them, but for us it's about making sure we're really clear on what we're doing and we get on with what we've got to control. Millwall manager Neil Harris said last night, the football club here and the officials been outstanding. We all wanted to get a game on, but health and safety comes first. It's been a long day for us. We are 8 games unbeaten. We were desperate to play. I feel for both sets of fans. Obviously, they can get a full refund or get their chance to come to the next game, but that doesn't cover their travel. Well, if they travel by coach, they will get a refund on that. So that's nice. Now, talking about the team selection. This is from southwarknews.co.uk. Mill midfielder edging close to first team return. He's edging, eh? Neil Harris said Billy Mitchell still needs to tick more boxes before he can start for Millwall after the midfielder was included in the Lions matchday squad for the first time this season against Portsmouth last night. A match that was postponed due to a power failure in the local area around Fratton Park. Again, that's not true. It was just Fratton Park. It was just Fratton Park. The substation just serves the football ground. There is no power failure in the local area. Facts. But isn't it interesting? So Mitchell needs to tick more boxes, but Bradshaw can just stroll straight back in, even though he's absolute fucking dog shit, and he hasn't shown anything in the games that he's come back. In fact, I went to Brentford under-21s to watch him in the under-21 game there, and he was absolutely shocking against an under-21 lad at centre-back. And apparently that was enough for him to just walk straight into the first team, where he's had about 5 shots and all of them have been off target. What? So Mitchell, 24, picked up a quad injury during pre-season, which ruled him out the Lions' first 16 league games, and a couple, and the cup game as well. Then, yeah, he's made several appearances for the under-21s in the past month and was deemed fit enough for a potential cameo off the bench against Pompey. Oh, Billy was going to play today, the under-21s today, but that was called off this morning because of a Waterloo pitch. So we escalated Billy into the squad tonight, Harris said. So he wasn't even in the Pompey squad. He was in the under-21 game, and that got called off. And he said, "Well, how about we put you in the first team squad?" Physically, Billy, he's not ready to start a game for the first team, but the opportunity to involve someone of Billy's quality, and calibre and personality, was too good of an opportunity for me to turn down. And we thought an impact off the bench, if need be, could be key tonight. Billy still needs to tick more boxes, before being considered fully ready for the first team again. And we'll just see where that leaves him for the weekend. Hang on, am I going insane? So you were starting for the under-21s at Millwall's training ground, which was, I think it was supposed to be a 1 o'clock kickoff. So it's possible that he could have played in that game, maybe got subbed off early, and then travelled down to Portsmouth. But I'm sure that wasn't going to happen. So you were going to play him in the under-21s, and then that didn't happen, so then you put him on the bench for the Portsmouth game. Is it just me, or does that not make any sense? And it's just, so the opportunity to involve someone of Billy's quality and calibre and personality was too good of an opportunity for me to turn down. Well, you were going to turn it down because you were going to play him in the under-21 game. Like, what? Now, there is a game tomorrow, Friday. Did you know about this? You should have done if you follow this channel. So Millwall under-18s at the Den. It's at the Den. The Den. 7 p.m. kickoff is the FA Youth Cup third round. It's cup football. Cup football is fantastic, especially under the floodlights on a Friday night. 7 p.m. kickoff. The game at the Den will see Larry McAvoy and Chris Perry's side, currently competing in the Professional Development League South and Premier League Cup, embark on the same journey which took them to the semi-finals last season. Tickets cost £5 or £1, and you can buy them online now, or you can buy them on the day at the ticket office. Match passes to watch the action can be bought on Millwall TV below for just £2.50. So yes, you can watch it even if you're not at the stadium. You can watch it on Millwall TV for £2.50 for a match pass. And that might be excellent value, because if it goes to extra time and it's still level after extra time, it goes to a penalty shootout. So if you have £2.50 for a 90-minute game, 30 minutes of extra time, and the penalty shootout, wow. Best £2.50 you've ever spent. So yeah. Talking of that, here we go. This is again from millwallfc.co.uk. Millwall TV, £2.50 for a match pass. You just need to have a logged in account on Millwall's website. What do they call it? A profile. And then you can buy the match pass, and then you can watch it on your computer, on your tablet, on your iPhone, or whatever phone you got, It doesn't have to be an iPhone. So, there you go. Friday night, 7 p.m. Let's go. Now, moving on to this. We're going to finish with this because this is the and finally, southwarknews.co.uk. Ex-Millwall boss joins Frank Lampard's backroom staff at Coventry City. Yes. Joe Edwards has joined Frank Lampard. Who was it that was following Frank Lampard around anyway? It wasn't Jody Morris, was it? Was it Ashley Cole, something like that? Obviously, I think he's got another job now. It was some ex-Chelsea thing was keep following Frank Lampard as assistant. So apparently Joe Edwards now. So there you go. Former Millwall boss Joe Edwards has joined Frank Lampard's backroom staff at Coventry City. The ex-Chelsea, Everton, and Derby County manager Lampard was appointed head coach of the Sky Blues earlier today, signing a 2.5-year contract. He replaces Mark Robins, who was sacked earlier this month after 7 years in charge. Lampard takes over, the club sitting 17th in the league. Yeah, they sell Victor Gyökeres and then they're shocked that they're not doing so well. Edwards, 38, was named head coach of Lions in November 2023 after Garrett stepped down. He had previously served as Lampard's assistant manager at Chelsea and Everton, and also had a stint as England's under-20 manager. Edwards' tenure began positively with a 4-0 victory over Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough, but he was sacked 3 months later following a run of 7 games without a win. During his 19 matches in charge, he oversaw 4 victories, 4 draws, and 11 losses. Coventry are set to face the Lions at the Den on December the 7th. So, just over a week's time, Joe Edwards has to come to Millwall. Let's have it! Come on then, Joe! A lot of animosity towards Joe Edwards. Because I know a lot of people don't understand. They're like, why? He didn't do a bad job. Well, 4 wins, 4 draws, and 11 losses. He's a loser. He's a fucking loser. And you can see, Neil Harris walks in the door. He's the man. Look what he did. Straight away. Bosh. Southampton away. Bosh. That's it. That's what you do. It's the aura. It's the charisma. That's what you either got it or you ain't got it. You know what I mean? And Neil Harris has it, and Joe Edwards ain't got it. And it is what it is. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye. And happy Thanksgiving if you're American. Bye bye.